Guys, it is over, everyone. It is completely over for anyone trying to cover up the corruption in D.C. The Epstein files released is finally here. 33,000 pages that have just been released. This is huge, everybody. Republicans are furious right now that Trump is using pocket rescissions to pull back foreign aid spending. You can't make this up, guys. I'm telling you, the rhinos are exposing themselves at the highest level. You can't make this stuff up. Trump has just threatened every single Republican in Congress, if they side with Thomas Massie over the Transparency Act, that he will take it as a hostile act towards him, and there will be consequences. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is about to get into a big fight, everybody. I'm telling you, we have traditional MAGA Republicans, now that Congress is back, that are siding with Thomas Massie over the Transparency Act to release any and all information tied to the Epstein files, the JFK files, the MLK files, everything. They want to expose the elitists. They want to expose every celebrity or whoever was involved with all this, and they want to see them go to jail. And this is a big one, y'all. Trump has just threatened every single Republican in Congress that whoever sides with Thomas Massie on the Transparency Act, he will consider that a hostile act towards him, and there will be consequences. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is leading the charge with Thomas Massie. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because I can't even believe I'm saying these words right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a MAGA Republican, is now in this big fight against Trump over the Transparency Act. Thomas Massie is in support with Marjorie Taylor Greene, are putting the full release of the files along with Democrats against President Trump. Trump's White House put out any Republican who signs Thomas Massie's discharge petition on the Epstein files will be seen as committing a hostile act against the Trump administration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The House Oversight Committee has just released 33,295 pages of the Epstein-related files that were provided by the U.S. Department of Justice. There were as many as 1,000 Epstein victims, and many of them have been paid by powerful men to be silent. The Epstein victims are now creating their own list that they are going to be releasing, compiling a list of names that of their accusers and the people that actually did them wrong. They're now learning that the NDAs they signed are not legally binding, and as a result, they will be releasing their own list and getting justice for the victims. You can't make this stuff up. Today's a big day. Congress is back. We're supposed to be passing a big budget. The Republicans in Congress are literally furious at Trump right now because he's doing pocket rescissions to pull back federal funding from foreign aid. So you tell me, we're going to put out a list of these rhinos so that we can primary them and get some real MAGA people in there. Senator Mike Rounds expressed his concern that the pocket rescissions will give Democrats a reason to oppose funding legislation, putting Washington in danger of blundering into a government shutdown after September 30th. Today is a big day for big news. MAGA Republicans are coming against Trump. We've got Republicans that are furious for Trump for pulling back foreign aid spending. Guys, this is an insane day of breaking news. We're going to bring you bombshell news today. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. We got a show for you today. Sit back, get some popcorn, maybe some sweet tea, because I'm telling you, you're going to be blown out of your mind what is going on in the Congress right now against Trump. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. I want to give some special love to everybody that is a member of the channel and those that give a super chat donation. We're so thankful for your support. We are here to serve you every single day with the top news. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, I'm telling you guys, never did I ever imagine that right before a government shutdown, you'd have MAGA Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out in full fight with Thomas Massie in the Transparency Act against Trump. Trump's He's already spoken about this, said, don't come against me. Don't anybody that sides with them. I will consider it a hostile attack towards me, and they will face consequences. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because this is going to be a showdown. What you're about to hear, this is big. This is all breaking news that just happened moments ago. You know I got y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Now in D.C., press conference underway calling for the full release of the Epstein files. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking now. Let's listen in.
The shame falls on every single person that coldly turned a blind eye to their abuse. The shame falls on every single person that enabled it. The shame falls on every single person that took money to continue it. And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal that continued a nightmare. Those people deserve the shame. And today we are coming forward and we are going to fight like hell for these women, because we have to fight like hell for those that are enduring sexual abuse and are living in a prison of shame. Anyone that is being abused, it is not your fault. You should live with no guilt or fear or shame. All of the fault belongs to the evil people that do these things to the innocent. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never receive justice. And the women behind me have never received justice. And do you want to know why? It's because Jeffrey Epstein somehow was able to walk among the most rich, powerful people, not only in America, but foreign countries. Yesterday, I heard countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and even Israel, and other countries. The truth needs to come out.
And I'm telling you, everybody, it's going to come out one way or another. We just got news that the Epstein victims are going to release their own client list, because they found out that the NDAs that they signed and they got paid off are not valid. And this is crazy. Listen to this, because you don't get no more breaking news. You don't get no more bombshell than this right here.
Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names.
Wow.
We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
So let me know your thoughts, everybody. This is big breaking news that's all coming out today. I am blown out of my mind what we're seeing right now. Remember, we're going to bring you the breaking news. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is some big stuff that's coming out today. We're bringing you all the breaking news. And remember, we don't hold back. Whatever is coming out, we're going to show you. And I'm telling you, this is what I just can't believe it, that the leading report, and I'm going to show you all this in a moment, any Republican who signs Representative Thomas Massey's discharge petition on the Epstein files will be seen as committing a hostile act against the Trump administration, per the White House official. This is big. Marjorie Taylor Greene has already signed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You're going to listen to her in a moment when let her finish what she was saying. But this is big. I want to say, digging it with Dawn. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said, I'm so glad to be able to watch live. I feel like I have missed so much this week. Keeping me on top of the news. MAGA, let's go. Show Digging It with Dawn some love in the chat, as well as J-Mad. Welcome to the family. Y'all show J-Mad some love in the chat, as well as Denise Clark Custom Art. let's go with the super chat. OG of the channel said he's tired and ready to throw down. Time to tango. The truth will always come out eventually. Y'all show Denise Clark some love in the chat, everybody. This is big. These are fighting words, everybody. And this is like, we're literally about to have one of the biggest votes in Congress, and we're dealing with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And the government holds the truth. The cases that are sealed hold the truth. Jeffrey Epstein's estate holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. And the truth we are demanding come out on behalf of these women, but also as a strong message to every innocent child, teenager, woman, and man that is being held captive in abuse. This should never happen in America, and it should never be a political issue that divides us. And I want to thank Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie for doing something brave, crossing political boundaries for a very important fight. And I'm honored to join both of them.
Right there.
And I'm honored that Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert signed the discharge petition along with myself. And I asked my Republican colleagues not to choose just one path for justice and transparency and accountability, but I asked my Republican colleagues to choose every path for justice and accountability and transparency.
So they are pushing everybody for the Transparency Act. That's what it's called, the Transparency Act. And this is something the White House is not happy about. Because let me tell you this, everybody. It's coming out everywhere right now from the Hill. GOP leaders urging Republicans not to sign the Epstein discharge petition. And they're saying, look, don't do it. Don't do it. Trump's not going to be happy about it. In a closed-door meeting in the basement of the Capitol, Speaker Mike Johnson called on GOP leaders to instead support the efforts of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which is seeking more disclosures on the Epstein case from the Justice Department DOJ. The Epstein case and the former federal law enforcement officials who worked on the case. They said this message from leadership was clear. According to Representative Joe Wilson, we have a very positive alternative. Representative Thomas Massie, who sponsored the discharge petition, disagrees. So you're about to hear from the people themselves. We're bringing you all this breaking news, everybody. I hope you appreciate it. And just want to always say again, too, when it comes to our YouTube chat, no personal attacks against me or anybody in the chat. No cussing. If you do that, you will be blocked. We want this family-friendly chat. You can say whatever you want about Trump, about Kamala Harris, about anything. But when it comes to the people in our chat and me, no personal attacks. I want it clean and fun. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, we're bringing you all this stuff that's happening right now because we want to make sure that you are fully taken care of when it comes to the breaking news. Listen to this.
Good afternoon, everyone. We just spent more than 2 hours with 6 of the Epstein victims, some of the bravest women I've ever met. They're very courageous. They shared their stories. Some of the ladies have shared these stories publicly before, but at least 2 of the women had never told their stories before. One for the very first time in the room. And so there were tears in the room. There was outrage. It was both, I would describe it as heartbreaking and infuriating that justice has been delayed so long. Some of the women in the room began to be groomed by Epstein and his accomplices, Ghislaine Maxwell and the others, 30 years ago.
Wow.
There were 4 attorneys in the room. Some of them began civil litigation against Epstein and the Epstein evils and everything associated with it 20 years ago. This has gone on for a long, long time. And they shared their stories. They shared how these brave young women, Epstein and his accomplices, stole their innocence, stole their very lives in some cases, stole their hopes and dreams and aspirations and ruined them in so many ways. But they came forward courageously to share their thoughts and their hopes in the House Oversight Committee and the House itself, that we would do this in a bipartisan fashion and seek those answers, and we will. They are owed that. There may be as many as 1,000 victims. Think of it,
1,000.
hundreds and hundreds of young.
I told you, 1,000 victims. We told you on this channel. I literally had somebody who blasted me on the chat saying, Joel, you don't know what we're talking about. I'm like, look, I'm literally getting it from the people that are literally in the oversight committee who are saying this stuff. This is crazy. And I'm going to show you Thomas Massie and what he says in just a moment, because I'm telling you, I feel like they got enough votes to pass this.
Women who some of us imagine seated behind these 6 women. One of the members in the committee said that they speak for all of them. And it's been long overdue. So the objective here is not just to uncover, investigate the Epstein evils, but also to ensure that this never happens again, and ultimately to find out why justice has been delayed for these ladies for so very long. It is inexcusable, and it will stop now because the Congress is dialed in on this. I'm very grateful for the leadership of Chairman James Comer of the House Oversight Committee, who's with me here, and he's done an extraordinary job. August was a very busy district work period for so many members of Congress who were fanned out across the country in their districts doing town halls and business roundtables and constituent services. But our House Oversight Committee was working all along on their subpoenas. And I'll let him recount for you some of the great work that has already been done. But 34,000 Epstein documents have already been collected. We will not stop there. This is the beginning and not the end. And they are going through very carefully because we have 2 ultimate objectives here. We want to bring justice to every single person who is involved in the Epstein evils or the cover-up thereof, but we also want to be equally certain that we protect the innocent victims. Many of these young women, some of them are now middle-aged women, have never come forward. We do not want their names or identities to be uncovered carelessly or intentionally in any way. And so the House Oversight Committee, in a bipartisan fashion, is combing through these documents to ensure that we redact only the information related to the innocent victims themselves. We cannot be involved in subjecting them to any more harm. With that, I want to yield to our very able and very busy chairman.
All right, you just heard from Mike Johnson. Now, he is fighting tooth and nail, everybody, with Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Representative Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert. All these people are fighting big time. And you're about to hear the other side of it that is working with the Democrats. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I told you, I'll bring you the full context. We bring you everything here. Listen to this.
For all the great work he's been doing, Jamie Comer.
Well, you said this is political cover, this vote that the Speaker is scheduling.
Yes, the vote that the Speaker's putting on the floor is meaningless. It's basically telling James Comer to keep doing what he's doing. And I appreciate what James Comer is doing, but this vote is unnecessary, and it's to provide political cover to those Republicans who may not be sponsoring or signing the effort that Ro Khanna and I have put forward.
Do you think that enough Republicans will sign on to this discharge petition to force a vote?
I do. We've got 12 sponsors, Republican sponsors. I believe every Democrat's going to sign it. If only 6 of the 12 Republicans sign it, then we'll be fine. And in fact, as soon as you get to 218, we quit taking signatures. So I would encourage Republicans to be one of those 6.
But you don't think that they're getting weak-kneed, these Republicans?
There's a major pressure campaign from the White House right now, and also from the Speaker. But I think there are enough Republicans who are listening to their constituents and care about these victims that will get the 218 signatures we need.
Wow, 218, y'all. I'm telling you, and they're not holding back. And even the own Epstein victims are going to release their own list. Let me know your thoughts on this, and let me tell you where this all goes back to. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, it's always all back to transparency, censorship. We've got the House back in order. We're trying to go after protecting Americans' freedom of speech. Not because I'm telling you, if we can't protect our #1 constitutional right, our country is done for. And we got Jim Jordan, who's going over everything because people all over the world are trying to censor us. And those people are pouring in money into the United States, trying to get companies to censor us. And what I love is you actually have some pit bulls, I think true MAGA Republicans that are fighting this. Listen to this.
Last year, Thierry Breton wrote Elon Musk a letter. Thierry Breton is the commissioner in charge of enforcement of the Digital Services Act and the Digital Marketing Act. In the very first sentence, the guy in charge of enforcing this legislation passed by the EU writes this: "Dear Mr. Musk, I am writing to you in the context of recent events in the United Kingdom and in relation to the planned broadcast on your platform X of a live conversation between a U.S. presidential candidate and yourself." So think about it. The guy in Europe in charge of enforcement.
If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I'm telling you, we are dropping this bombshell news today. Big stuff that's coming out.
Enforcing a European Union law, writes an American about an American company, about an American election, and he says the context for the letter, the reason for the letter, are events that are happening in the UK, a non-European Union country. That's not Europe trying to influence what happens here. I don't know what is. He goes on throughout the letter and says this: measures need to be taken to combat disinformation. He said this to Mr. Musk. We're concerned about any, quote, illegal content you may have. And he ends his letter by saying, my services and I, very last sentence, my services and I will be extremely vigilant to any evidence that points to breaches of the Digital Services Act and will not hesitate to make full use of our toolbox. So he ends the letter with a threat. So before the interview even takes place, he's threatening an American running an American company about an interview regarding the most important election we have, election of the President of the United States. And again, saying the reason for doing so are events that are happening in a non-European Union country, the UK. Comments about events happening in the UK. Concerned about this, quote, spillover effect. That is why we're having today's hearing. That's why we went to Europe last month, or actually in July, to study this issue. Now, here's what's interesting. Mr. Breton, after he sends this letter, this committee sent him 2 letters, and then he suddenly resigns. We asked him to come today, but he refused to come. We asked him to send written testimony. He refused to do that. We asked him to appear. He refused. He just wouldn't come. I think it's important to remember what the House Judiciary Committee did last Congress. We investigated our government, the Biden administration, their attacks on free expression here in the United States. What Michael Schellenberger journalists called the censorship industrial complex. Big government, big tech, big media, big academia, all working together to censor Americans.
Dang.
We learned all kinds of things in that investigation. We learned on April 27th of 2022 that the Biden administration had established a disinformation governance board. That's right. Bunch of bureaucrats going to get together and tell you what you can say, what you can tweet, what you can post, what you can read, what's misinformation, what's disinformation, and the new term they come up, what's malinformation. Thank goodness, because many of us raised concerns about that, they disbanded that disinformation governance board. We no longer had that. We heard from journalists like Mr. Schellenberger, like Matt Taibbi.
Let me tell you this. The fight is so real, everybody. I'm telling you that we've got rhinos, we've got people in the judicial sector that just don't want to see Trump win. What I'm showing you right now, and this is all the Biden administration, there's still a lot of people from the Obama administration, from the Biden administration, judges, people in certain offices, the deep state, that look at this. D.C. grand juries declined to indict 2 people accused of threatening to kill Trump. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. These people that literally threatened Trump brought weapons to D.C. Were literally saying that they were going to do all this stuff, and now nothing's going to happen? No indictments? Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, everybody, if we don't do something, if we don't drain the swamp, there are still people out there trying to take out Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is so bad that D.C. grand juries declined to indict 2 accused of threatening to kill Trump. And even these people had weapons, okay? It's not like they just came and said, oh, I want to do this to Trump. It's like, no, they had plans, they had weapons. They didn't even live in DC. They traveled to DC. They were caught around the White House. I'm so sick of seeing how much weaponization is in the government. And I'm glad that we're exposing it right here because things need to change.
Regarding the Twitter files, we heard from Tulsi Gabbard. We heard from RFK Jr., all Democrats, frankly. In fact, I took some heat for that. What are you doing bringing Democrats in front of the judiciary? We brought them in because they care about the First Amendment. It was interesting. When RFK Jr. came in to testify, the Democrats actually made a motion to go to executive session. Kick everyone out. No journalists, no one was allowed. They wanted to kick everyone out, go to executive session so no one could hear what RFK Jr. was going to testify to in a hearing on censorship. You can't make this stuff up. We learned that on January 23rd. Think about that, by the way. We learned on January 23rd, 2021, maybe point this one out first, that there was an email. So the third day of the Biden administration, there was an email sent from the White House to Twitter which said, take down this tweet ASAP. And who had issued the tweet? Who had put out the tweet? RFK Jr. So you had the Biden administration trying to censor a fellow Democrat who was going to run against him in the Democrat primary.
Dang.
I mean, that is, and everything in that tweet actually were true statements. So we learned all that last year, and of course our investigation culminated with a letter from Mr. Zuckerberg on August 26, 2024 last year, where he said, yes, the Biden administration pressured us to censor. We did it. We're sorry, and we won't do it again. And Meta, Facebook has now subsequently changed policy. They now go to the community notes policy instead of the, quote, independent fact checker approach that was being used before. We had one other witness last Congress, journalist from Canada, Rupa Subramanya, who I thought said something that was really important. She said, free speech is a core value of Western culture. And that is true, and that's what our concern is. We're concerned about the attacks on free expression in Europe, the censorship, the arrest for offensive posts, the chilling effect it all has on speech. But we're more concerned, frankly, as Americans, about the limits the DSA, the Online Safety Act in the UK, put on Americans' First Amendment rights, and the shakedown. And I think that's the appropriate term, the shakedown of American tech companies under the DSA, the OSA, and the Digital Marketing Act Digital Markets Act in the European Union. These acts target our tech companies that provide the modern town square, and they are the engines of innovation in our global economy. Since the turn of the century, European tech companies have languished behind their American counterparts. European governments have tried everything to change this except what might actually work, deregulating their own economy and letting free enterprise flourish. Instead of cutting red tape and allowing their own companies to innovate and grow, the EU and the UK are going after American companies that have grown to dominate the global tech landscape. Regulations like the EU's Digital Markets Act and the UK's Digital Markets Competition and Consumers Act impose burdensome requirements on US tech companies while leaving their European counterparts untouched.
And I want to show you, because I'm telling you, we're not holding back, everybody. There's so much breaking news. We're dealing with censorship today. We're dealing with all of the fight with Marjorie Taylor Greene, with Thomas Massie, with Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, like all these people who are supposedly MAGA, they're all coming out. And this is a big statement, guys. Go ahead, take a seat, because I'm telling you, we're bringing you everything. Massie says that Trump may be covering for some rich and powerful people in the Epstein files. Let me know your thoughts on this, because all this is breaking today. Do you believe Trump? That now we even have it from NBC News that they did a panel and they said, and all the people, the victims said that, Trump had nothing to do with, or didn't do anything, that Trump was good, so Trump's safe. But now people are saying that Trump's trying to cover up for rich and powerful friends. Where do you stand at, everybody? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up button, thumbs up like button. There's too much corruption, everybody. There's too much corruption. We're trying to protect people. We're trying to make sure that that America is first, I want to move into, guys, remember on our channel, we only have one sponsor. And we've partnered with these people because they do a great job of taking care of Americans. And when it comes to our system, when it comes to the corruption and things that are happening, we have found that the United States literally had to go after 3 national health insurance companies because they found that there was unlawful kickbacks and discrimination against people on Medicare, disabled Americans, and that's why we have to be on our toes, and we have to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to put forth and take care of our people, our seniors, especially those on Medicare. So if you're on Medicare, or you're about to be on Medicare, if you are on there, you can be taken care of. We've already had one person on this channel already save $1,400 a year, everybody. That's big. They compare every single Medicare plan. They have saved seniors on average $1,100 a year. Guys, that's a lot of money. Call 667-895-3015. I promise you they're going to take care of you. Say that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. You're going to get taken care of. I'm just tired of seeing all the corruption take place. And when we show you stuff like this on the screen from the Office of Public Affairs, U.S. Department of Justice, we have to make sure that we give you the facts. We show you everything that's going on because there's people even here in America. We've got rhinos. We got people that have tried to censor Americans, that tried to do Americans wrong. And that's why we partner with Chapter so that you can be taken care of. We love them. They're going to take care of you. I promise. There's hundreds and hundreds of Medicare plans. You want to make sure you're on the right one. But all this just goes back to, everybody, of making sure that we expose everybody. And that's why what you're seeing on the screen, we're exposing all the corruption. Listen to this.
Attacking American tech companies, Europe is attacking free speech around the world, including here in America. Laws like the Digital Services Act and the Online Safety Act are the engines of global censorship regime targeting political speech disfavored by European bureaucrats. The censorship mechanism is simple. The DSA and the OSA effectively require social media platforms to change their terms of service to moderate more content. These companies have one set of standards that they apply globally because it's costly, impractical, and harmful to user privacy to change content moderation rules based on a user's location. So when platforms are forced to change their terms of service to comply with European laws, it affects what we see, what we read, what we say online here in America, infringing on Americans' First Amendment rights. And this is no accident. Even the New York Times, The Atlantic have acknowledged that these foreign censorship laws are intended to have global impact. And European actions have proven it. Again, just look at Mr. Breton's letter. Supporters say these laws make the online environment safer for children, something that we all agree with. We all want to protect kids. But censorship laws are never about disinformation or child safety or anything else. They're always about censoring criticism of the government.
Ooh.
Social media is a relatively new technology, but censorship is as old as time. Misinformation, disinformation, hate speech labels are always used by the people in power to censor their critics. And my experience has taught me that today's misinformation is tomorrow's truth.
Wow.
We've seen it time and time again. I always like to point out, everything the government told us about COVID turned out to be wrong. Everything our government told us about COVID. I'm not even talking about Europe here. Everything. They told us that the virus didn't come from a lab. Sure looks like it did. They told us it wasn't gain-of-function research done at the lab. Yes, it was. They told us it wasn't our tax money used at the lab. Yes, it was. They told us vaccines. They told us that the vaccinated can't get it. They told us the vaccinated can't transmit it. They told us masks work. They told us 6 feet social distance was based on science. And they told us this was the first virus in history where there's no such thing as natural immunity. They were 0 for 8.
Wow.
Yet they're going to define with some disinformation governance board what we can say, what we can tweet, what we can read, what we can post. You got to be kidding me. As RFK Jr. testified before our committee, never forgot what he said. He said, when you look at history, it is never the good guys who are for censorship. It is always the bad guys, and that's our concern. We need debate. The best way to answer bad speech, wrong speech, stupid speech, crazy speech, even hate speech is more speech. We need the First Amendment. Our committee will continue to move legislation that protects free speech from threats, including threats from abroad. And with that, I now recognize our ranking.
I'm telling you, it's all about this free speech stuff is coming out, everybody. Epstein victims set to break silence amid bipartisan push to release files. People are going to be outraged. This is big. Robert Cash, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. Said accountability, truth, and justice. We all want the truth. Let's go, MAGA. I love it. Show Robert Cash some love in the chat, everybody. This is big. So you've got a lot of people that are coming out. Let me know where you side with, that are saying that the Epstein files have been destroyed. That's what Trump is saying, that what they have, what the courts or files that the committees have is fake. It's not even the real stuff. It's been doctored. Listen to this, guys. I'm telling you, like, are you siding with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace? Or are you siding with Trump and MAGA? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is big.
It is an emergency. Therefore, Trump has the authority to deploy the National Guard. What's your solution if you're going to tell people there is crime and you will do nothing about it? That's why the only play Democrats have is to say, there's no crime, Trump's lying, which we all know is true. And so they're going to lose on that one. That's why the Epstein thing is a big, juicy ham for the Democrats, something to sink their teeth into, because even Trump supporters want the information released.
Wow.
But where is it? They say many of the files appeared in public court filings, including, for example, a 2021 motion from Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell to dismiss the superseding indictments against her in federal court. Among materials unveiled Tuesday evening, however, are some video clips, including one that appears to feature a young woman recounting her experience as one of Epstein's masseuses. Her image and the image of the interviewer are blurred. These files were originally handed over to lawmakers last month, but Republicans and Democrats on the House Oversight Committee took more than a week to privately review them. The committee's GOP majority said it was coordinating with the Justice Department to redact information that could compromise the victims or ongoing criminal matters. It's expected that the DOJ will continue to turn over information. Democrats claim that the only new information in the materials are the flight logs from CBP. The files show Epstein's travels to destinations such as Paris, New York, St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. To the American people, don't let this fool you, said Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on the Oversight Committee. House Republicans are trying to make a spectacle of releasing already public documents. Pam Bondi said the client list was on her desk. She could release it right now if she wanted to.
Wow.
I actually think Pam Bondi was lying about having the Epstein list. And then when she realized she didn't have it, panicked and released junk. Because the truth is, it's all gone. It's been destroyed a long time ago.
I can see
They go
that.
on and then just get...
I could see that, everybody, because I'm telling you, stuff like this, when you involve billionaires, and that's what we're dealing with, everybody. They don't operate with this.
New crafted flats from Pizza Hut are just $5 each till 5 p.m.
Sorry, y'all,
Choose from 5 handcrafted recipes you won't want to share.
Oh, my goodness. Stop.
And you don't have to. The new crafted flats, just $5 each till 5 p.m. and available till close. Only at Pizza
I
Hut.
apologize, everybody. I can't find where this thing is at. Okay, it's gone. Good. Billionaires don't operate on the same level that we do. They have connections, money to pay people off, and that's what we're dealing with. You billionaires get away with a lot of stuff because a lot of people are in debt. A lot of people are willing to take $150,000, $250,000 in cash, and they'll make things disappear. Is it right? No. Is it happening? You bet your butt it is. And if you think it's not, you're naive. Republicans dismayed by Trump's decision to use pocket rescissions when it comes to the money, and this is where it all goes back to. It always goes back to where the slush fund money is stopping. You literally have Republicans that are mad that Trump is pulling back on spending that's going to foreign countries, everybody. We're showing you everything that's going on. I want to show you straight from Mike Johnson himself over what's happening. I'm just I'm just in awe of how much rhinos we are exposing right now. But do you think that they're rhinos that are siding with Massey over the Epstein list? But I want to give you some updates because we got the budgets. We got updates and changes to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, foreign spending, the spending here in the United States. All this stuff is about to accumulate. Listen to this. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, listen to this.
Welcome back to everybody. We come back very excited, and not just because the LSU Tigers prevailed on Saturday, but because we're in a really good mood. You know, the House Republicans went out, fanned out across the country over the district work period, and got a lot of work done. And they were talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill, which has also become known as the Working Families Tax Cut Act, because that's what it principally represents. And it was met with great reception everywhere. I'm so grateful for leaders like Tom, the Clicks, who are these small business owners that is the heart of the U.S. economy, and they make it run and they provide jobs. And we're trying to do everything we can to ensure that they have success, because the success of small business owners and hardworking families is the success of America. And that's what our principles and policies provide. And so we're so excited about that. We went out, fanned out across the country. We met with business leaders just like this, with workers, farmers, families in our districts to discuss our legislation and how it's already making a positive impact in communities across the country. I spent the month traveling my own district and 12 other states, and we went quite literally coast to coast, got a great reception everywhere we went. In my district, I met with farmers who will benefit from the permanent relief from that death tax, and small business owners just like this, who can now plan for the future better because of tax certainty and increases in the small business deductions. In Nashville, Tennessee, where I was, I met with tip workers who will keep more of what they earn thanks to the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. And they were overjoyed by that, and we interviewed them and got their comments on it. I was in Idaho Falls, Idaho. I visited with a local manufacturer there who employs 5,200 people, one of the biggest, most impressive businesses nationwide. And thanks to this bill, they can now permanently deduct more of their critical investments in research and development on their products, and they will help their company and thereby create more jobs and help their workers. Look, whether you're a farmer, a bartender, a stay-at-home parent, a law enforcement officer, a business owner, any profession in between, the legislation that we passed is going to benefit you. It's going to benefit all Americans because, as we noted, it was written for lower and middle class earners, and they are going to feel the effects of that in very short order. We're going to continue to speak the truth to the American people, and we're really excited, I'll just note parenthetically, as we head into the midterm election, about the results that we can point to that are going to help everyone. Regarding DC crime, it's not just the One Big Beautiful Bill that's helping American people. Since President Trump took control of the crime in this city, and so many of you live here and you know you experienced this, they took control of the DC Metro Police Department, and the crime in our nation's capital has fallen off a cliff. Here's some stats. Carjackings are down 85%. Some of you, I won't ask for a raise of hands, but some of y'all live in the Navy Yard. I mean, people were scared to go to their cars at night. That's not happening anymore. I was down there yesterday, and we have National Guard, loyal, faithful, brave National.
And I just want to show you too, and I hope you appreciate this, that the things that are happening are because this man is doing it himself. Congress ain't done a dang thing, y'all. They passed a CR back in, it was like March or something like that, that literally was a continuing resolution of the same spending that Biden did. The big beautiful bill, Trump put it across the finish line, and this crap right here continues to happen. DC grand juries declined to indict 2 accused of threatening to kill Trump. What does Trump have to do? How much does Trump have to fight in order just to stay alive with people that are trying to take his life? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Andy, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, Hot Mike catches Putin G discuss organ transplants to achieve immortality. This is why people are missing and are not found. Where are the children that are missing? I don't doubt it. We know that stuff happens. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat. It's sick where things are at in this world, and that's why we have to hold people accountable, even at the highest level. But even with this, how in the world is it right that what you're hearing, that when you see crime that's being reduced, when you see things happen, it's because Trump's making it happen. You didn't see Congress pass any bills to make DC safer, and they've been there for how long? And they have the purse, and yet they didn't do it themselves. But look what Trump did. I'm telling you, I hate, but we're going to expose all these rhinos, everybody. And we're going to continue to show you so that we can get the right people in place. Listen to this.
Guardsmen and women walking the streets in full, with their arms. Makes a big difference. Carjacking's down 85%, robbery's down 42%, violent crime down 25%. DC went 11 straight days without a murder. That sounds like, wow, why would you be, because that's an amazing thing around here. Nearly 1,300 criminals have been arrested and 135 illegal guns removed from the DC streets. DC residents, and the residents of every big American city, should be able to walk freely without fear of being mugged and violently assaulted and carjacked or shot at. I mean, this is common sense, and it's clear this action is needed. 81% of the people in this country believe crime is a major problem in large American cities. And we ought to do something about it, and we're the team that will. President Trump is clearly listening. His efforts have been so effective here in D.C. that Mayor Bowser, who is a Democrat, as you know, signed an executive order just yesterday welcoming federal law enforcement in D.C. indefinitely, okay? I hope my Democrat colleagues here will wake up and realize that crime is not a partisan issue. It can't be. Violent criminals don't know if you're a Democrat or a Republican before they put a gun to the back of your head and demand you give up your keys. We can't stand for that. And the Democrats should set aside their pride and stop defending violent criminals, which is amazingly what so many of them are doing right now, and work with the Trump administration to put the safety of the American people first. Regarding government funding, just very quickly, you've heard Leader Scalise address this. House Republicans are continuing the FY26 appropriations process in our efforts to responsibly fund the government while also cutting spending. Why? Because, my friends, we have a $37 trillion federal debt. Now, remember, we cut $1.6 trillion in the big, beautiful bill, and that was a huge leap forward because it's the largest amount of savings ever achieved by any legislative body in the history of mankind, but it's not enough. We have to continue to spend more responsibly. This week, we'll bring up the Energy and Water Appropriations Bill to the floor, and Chairman Cole is diligently working to get all 12 of the appropriations bills out of his committee. As we always are, the House Republicans are committed to keeping the government open. And unfortunately, it seems like not all the Democrats agree with that, and they're beginning to apply their government shutdown pressure. But I want you to remember one thing. All but one House Democrat voted to shut down the government in March. And we expect, sadly, that may happen again.
Right there.
That will be their inclination. If
the government shut down, and it's all over this right here, everybody. It's going to be on both sides, okay? It's going to be because Republicans are dismayed by Trump's decision to use pocket rescissions. Why? Because the dang Congress won't pull back any spending. And because they won't pull back any spending, Trump's like, I guess I'll have to do it. And he pulled back $5 billion in spending. Trump's also cut $16 billion in climate change spending, which we're going to show you in a moment. So the Republicans are now saying, oh no, we're going to have a government shutdown because Trump keeps cutting spending, because Congress won't do it. And now you just heard it from himself, from Mike Johnson, that we're probably going to get really close to a government shutdown, which means that the Republicans are going to have to give up billions and billions and billions of taxpayer dollars to the Democrats so they can have slush funds, so they can put out money to foreign countries, so they can go spend their money on DEI crap, because that's how the deal works. They say you got to compromise, you got to give up, you got to do this and this and that. It's a dang joke, everybody. What you are seeing, we're exposing it all. But when you see that Republicans are literally mad at Trump because he's pulling back spending, it is a joke. If you appreciate that we always are America first, Trump's America first, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. I'm sick and tired of seeing just such blatant disregard for the American taxpayer. Listen to this.
Shuts down, it'll be because congressional Democrats rejected common sense solutions to fund the government and instead caved to their far left base. But I'm going to say this. I mean, look, I mean this sincerely. If Democrats are willing to work with us and think responsibly about how we can spend less than we did last year, then we are all open to that. Our nation is saddled with that debt, and we've got to figure this out. Last thing I'll note, and then we'll go to questions. I just got to comment on Governor Newsom and his anti-Christian rhetoric, anti-religious rhetoric. Just one personal point here. Last week, he called me out personally a couple times, and he shamelessly mocked the victims of Annunciation Catholic School for praying after the shooting. Went online and did it in writing. I just found it reprehensible. It's really sick. In response to a video of Caroline Leavitt discussing the power of prayer amid great tragedy, the governor posted, quote, "These children were literally praying as they got shot at." Why? Why would he do that? Why would you do that? Except that you are starving for attention. It's detestable. 2 children were murdered. More than a dozen were hospitalized, and Gavin Newsom's response was to sneer and condemn those who seek out our Creator at our darkest moments. I just thought it was evil. In fact,
Yes.
It's indicative of such a profound moral decay that really the only hope for Gavin is prayer, ironically, and we're told in Scripture to do that. As people of faith, we believe in the strength of prayer and intercession. It's foundational to who we are as believers, and by the way, who we are as Americans. It's woven into the fabric of our country, our deep Judeo-Christian heritage, and it's something that we represent. And as a leader of the state with the largest Christian population in America, I will keep Governor Newsom and also the people of California in my prayers, and I think you ought to be called out. And anybody who does that should be called out for it.
I'm telling you, y'all, it's an attack. We're we're one of the strongest countries in the world with Christian values, trying to do what's right. And this is what I hate so much. You've got so much attack against Christianity when Christianity's core focus is love people, be kind, be generous, make sure, pray for your enemies, pray for those that despitefully use you, like all this stuff against Christians. But yet when things happen, they make these stupid statements like what you just heard from Gavin Newsom. Listen to this, because there is people that are trying to bring us down just because we essentially are a Christian nation or started out as one predominantly. Listen to this.
Dr. Taylor Marshall, I think of everything that's going on, still one of the most radioactive phrases is Christian nationalism. If you want to have the mainstream media, MSNBC's head blow up, it's this topic. But clearly what's going on in the Middle East, we got to sort that. We got to really sort it through exactly what we're trying to accomplish, why we're trying to accomplish it, and also think about here in the America First movement, when you see this radical transgender ideology, what they've done to young men in this country, how they've tried to destroy them. We've got to get our act together here. And this new book, you got a Christian Patriot, you got 12 steps of how to put Christ in the middle of the country. Are you, Dr. Marshall, aren't you just another version? Aren't you just a Christian version of Ayatollah Khomeini, who wanted to put a theocracy into Persia and has done it for when the Shah fell, has done it for the last, and folks had no earthly idea how bad that was going to be. All the happy talk of the Carter administration, we can work with these guys. He's a moderate. There's all these moderates there. And they started standing up and shooting them, I think, immediately after they took over. So the argument for Christian nationalism, are you just arguing for a Christian Ayatollah, sir?
Of course not. If you look at Europe, you look at America, you look at the West, as it becomes less Christian, it becomes worse. That's true of birth rate. It's true of violence. It's true of the economy. It's true of everything, because the best nation, the best way that we could live is in conformity with God's will. And God's will is revealed through Jesus Christ. And, we have people that say, Muslim nations, they have Muslim culture. That's great. Israel has Jewish culture. That's great. But if you say, you have a Christian majority nation, they should have Christian culture, Christian norms, Christian laws. People say, no, that's fascist. That's evil. You can't do that. And so there's a double standard in the world right now where it's assumed that Christians cannot form culture and form society and even form governance based on their faith, but Muslims and Hindus and Jews can, and that's a big double standard. So in this book, Christian Patriot, I'm calling that out, and I'm challenging people of goodwill, and especially Christians, to realize that we have a 2,000-year treasury of Christian political theory, political philosophy, theology about what is the relationship between church and state, and can there be integration, and what are the limits of that. And I think especially American Christians are not fully plugged into that tradition. So the first part of the book gives a crash course on the Christian political philosophy, or the theology of the church and the state. And I do some analysis on the American founding, and I really go after Thomas Jefferson. I think he was a cruel man. He did not have a good moral life. He did have some good thoughts, but he was very anti-Christ. He was very anti-Christian. There's a Jeffersonian Bible, I'm sure you know about that, Steve, where he basically goes through with a black Sharpie and just removes everything supernatural, everything that he thinks Jesus didn't do. He rejects the resurrection. He rejects the Trinity. He rejects the divinity of Jesus Christ. And so Jefferson is the one who erected what he calls the wall of the separation of church and state. And it's not actually in our founding documents. If you look at the first 13 colonies, many of them are requiring belief in the Trinity, belief in the Old and New Testament to hold office. Even when we get past 1776 and in the first 13 states, we see all that still happening. We are a Christian nation.
Boom.
And to the extent that we leave behind that legacy, we will become not great. We will become worse. And so I want to challenge the conservative movement. What are we living for? Like, why do we believe marriage is what marriage is? Because God revealed that. Why do we believe in a higher birth rate? Because God said, be fruitful and multiply. Why are we against pornography? Why are we in favor of parental rights? Why do we want to end abortion? Why do we want to end human trafficking? It comes from our Christian ethos. Jesus Christ taught the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount. It's the most beautiful message ever given to the world. And why wouldn't you want to live in a society that's based on the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount and the message of love in a form of sacrifice, which is who Jesus Christ is, the way, the truth, and the life. So I want to challenge, our political philosophy as conservatives, as Americans, and this book is written to all people. It's not just an American take. This is Christian politics. And, there's been dozens and dozens of nations from the time of Constantine up until the First and Second World War where there was Christian civilization and Christian laws and governance and customs. And you know who benefited the most from that? The next generation, the children and the families. And that's what we're losing in 2025. We just had a massive shooting in a church, and it's not the first one. These are happening over and over and over. Why? Because there is a hatred of God. There is a hatred of Christ, and these young people who are confused about gender and religion and faith and society and what is a man and what is a woman and marriage. And, this young man who was a transgender who shot up the church, his parents divorced at age 11, and they say that's what just sent him into a downward spiral. We have to talk about what is matrimony. Is it just a good idea? Is it a sacrament? Is it for life? Is it a man and a woman? So all of this goes back to our Christian roots, our Christian basis. It goes back to Christendom. And America is great because we come from that Christendom tradition. Our understanding about human rights and our understanding about flourishing as a civilization and leaving something better to our children and our grandchildren, that is rooted in the pages of sacred scripture. Yes, natural law is important, but what really makes us great is Christianity. And I think, moving into 4 years from now and 8 years now in the political cycle, you're starting to see young people, in particular young men, and you talk a lot about it, Steve. You see young men who are completely disillusioned about marriage, about home ownership, about the economy, about war. Where are we going? We have abandoned our Christian legacy, our patrimony. And this is the generation that's waking up and saying, there's nothing left in the bank account. We're coming to the end. And what we need to do is we need to revivify our nation and go back to what makes us great.
Yes.
And that is Christian.
Guys, that's so important. And it's so big because to me, it's like and I feel like, they've been saying a lot about what Trump has been talking a lot about Christianity, heaven, and the White House, things like that. And I love it. If we can exemplify those values more, regardless if you believe in Jesus or the Bible or not, Those are good values. But it's like when we see stuff like this that is coming out, Massey, Trump may be covering for some rich and powerful people in the Epstein files. Guys, this is big stuff. If you appreciate all this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is big stuff that we are trying to make sure that you are informed, you know what's going on. It's mind-blowing that we are seeing so much attacks in every single direction. Now we have MAGA attacking MAGA, Trump, essentially. And when we look back at what is Trump essentially doing and what they said, they literally tried to say Trump was dead this past weekend. And it's crazy. Listen to all this.
Trump's alive.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see you for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really?
I didn't see that.
You know, I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful, and then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months, and it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. The president took Labor Day weekend off, and they thought he was dead. The left thought Father Time got him.
So we haven't seen Trump since August 26th, which makes me think that Trump has died. And
guys, let me tell you this. It's got some music in the background, but like, it's mind-blowing. We didn't see Biden for God knows how long, but yet Trump is gone for 2 days. 2 days, y'all. And all of a sudden, oh no, Trump's dead. Are you kidding me?
Even Biden's people were getting in on the hoax.
The president has been very vocal with press all the time. I think in August, he spent 26 days doing public events or talking to press. So to go down for 6 days and just have a slew of true social posts that are very chaotic and people can't follow all of them, it's very concerning. There could be actually something wrong. The problem is we don't know and they're not being transparent.
That woman worked for Biden. She was the one who dressed up as the Easter Bunny and yanked him away from reporters. That woman. These people thought Trump was dead and Biden was alive. And it's not like Trump wasn't seen. He was seen going to golf every day. Biden went days without being seen. They never asked if he was alive. And we speculated a lot about Biden's health, a lot. But we never thought Joe Biden was dead.
Yeah,
and
that's
we never
true.
wished he croaked in the Oval. But Tampon was downright giddy thinking about it.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Timmy's scrolling through his phone, hoping to see news the president's dead?
Wow.
We wished Biden was alive,
That's
and they
messed up.
wished Trump was dead. People were texting reporters asking if the president had passed away.
A whole lot of people on the internet convinced themselves that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, was in fact dead. It was everywhere. People I am friends with but aren't into politics were texting me asking if Trump had died. Just to be clear, let's get the good stuff in here. No, Donald Trump is not dead.
How did that rumor spread with Trump, but not with Biden? Democrats were convinced. Over the weekend, there was a video going around of someone throwing stuff out of the White House window, and they said, see, contractors can't work at the White House while the president's there. He must be 6 feet under.
Wow.
Trump hadn't even heard about it. Our very own stupid son of a bitch, Peter Doocy, had to show it to him on the phone. Trump called the video AI.
So that's a fake video?
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof.
Oh, yeah.
The White House says the video's real, so that must not be Trump. Has to be a body double. Well, someone was doing interviews over the weekend and posting all night. Quote, 3 days ago, while admiring the stonework, I happened to notice a huge gash in the limestone. It was deep and nasty. Lo and behold, because of the fact that we've installed the finest security equipment anywhere, they brought back the stupid people with their boss watching in sunglasses. It was a subcontractor that was installing heavy landscaping on a steel cart that was broken and tilting badly. with it rubbing hard against the soft, beautiful stone. Something like this should never happen. So Trump fired the contractor and banned them from the White House. So Trump did an interview, golfed, and fired people over Labor Day. He's very much alive. Joe
Let's
Biden,
go.
barely there. Let me give you an example.
Let me tell you this. Sleepy Joe Biden, I never got it until when you start seeing all the stuff that came out about Sleepy Joe Biden and him continuing to, he took the most vacation days. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff, we show you the facts. We're putting out all this news of what happened. Biden took more vacation days than anybody ever in modern history of being the president. It was like 517 vacation days. And it blows my mind because, again, too, they said, oh, he was one of the greatest presidents ever. We need to put Biden's face on the Mount Rushmore. Give me a break. Thomas Brewer, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Let's go. He said, good show, great news. I love it. Y'all show Thomas some love in the chat, everybody.
Trump's replacing Biden's presidential portrait at the White House with a portrait of the auto pen. That pen worked harder than Biden ever did, so it should be honored. Meanwhile, Trump doesn't stop. White House sources says he seems to wake up and say, what else needs to be improved? Every day it's something new.
Let's go.
He's very focused on America's 250th birthday and cares a lot about making the city's fountains operational again. He cares a lot about the fountains, quote unquote. Trump's not dead. He's bringing America back to life. And water is life. Even Fetterman says the president has good taste.
The plans are going to be done in a tasteful and historical kind of a way. I mean, they're not putting in a Dave and Buster's kind of a situation here. So I think upgrading some of these facilities seems pretty normal.
The only renovation Biden did was to the White House Situation Room. And when they found the cocaine, they blamed one of the workers. But they never fired the workers, did they? Trump worked so hard they thought he was dead when he took a long weekend off. And I'm glad he did, because the fall is going to be a frenzy. On October 1st, government shutdown deadline. Putin-Zelensky summit, maybe. The battle over the Federal Reserve, RFK Jr. hearings. The National Guard probably going to Chicago. Maybe a war with the cartels. More on that later. Maxine Waters, no relation, wants to stage a coup because the president isn't sleepy.
It is time to call for Article 25 of the Constitution of the United States of America to determine his unfitness, to determine that something's wrong with this president.
Trump is bringing so much change to Washington, they think something's wrong with him. Presidents usually just preside, they don't govern. And do Democrats have a plan to take on a man of action?
You know, you had a lot of online influencers who were jumping on this, grifting basically, trying to make a quick buck. You had other people pushing these ideas for political reasons, promoting the idea that Trump was weak or frail and may not be with us for very much longer. It seemed to me that there are some liberals who've just given up on challenging Trump and are waiting for him to die.
So the left strategy boils down to this. They hope Trump dies. They did try to kill him or have him die in prison. Now they're just hoping for natural causes.
And I showed you this earlier, y'all. It's just so mind-blowing that this right here, you cannot make this stuff up. D.C. grand juries declined to indict two accused of threatening to kill Trump. So whenever we see this stuff, and I'm just like, they're trying to take Trump out. There's people that still want to take Trump out. And it's just mind-blowing that everybody's just, they hate this man so much. And what is he really doing? He's exposing everybody. He's putting America first, making us the greatest nation ever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Talmadge Codes, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Talmadge Codes some love in the chat. Member of the channel. I love it.
Meanwhile, Trump's spending every second of the day thinking, how can I make Chicago safer? How can I make the nation richer? How can I make D.C. more beautiful? And the Democrats are like, did he die yet? They're really not part of making America great again. They could be. They could build big, beautiful things, make college cheaper, force too late Jerome to cut rates. They're just angry. And anger is okay, but you have to channel anger towards something fruitful. So far, all we've seen is nuts.
I want to say to all of them, every genocide enabler, look at this room's mother. We ain't going anywhere.
We're also hearing a lot of funky accents.
Baby, because these people, they are crazy, because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side
goodness.
are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things. Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. Just go Google. You'll find some of it. I'm telling you, and the wives is being messy and petty. They putting it in the divorce. I'm like, ooh, that's got to be true.
Greasy Gavin's out there jocking Trump style. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Let me tell you this, y'all. I really dislike it when people do things for show. It's so fake. You just heard Jasmine Crockett. Let me tell you what the real Jasmine Crockett sounds like.
First of all, it's good to see you in the new year. You know, no one could have told me.
That's the real Jasmine Crockett.
Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress.
Baby, because these people, they are crazy, because they always talk about how Christian...
You see that? Like, this to me, I don't know if it's just mind-blowing how much they're trying to be like Trump, how much they're trying to be like, oh, this charismatic, out there, not afraid to say things type of Trump, and nobody believes them. Bunch of liars. It's just, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, it's a bunch of liars trying to be fake.
But why doesn't Gavin imitate his policies? What Democrats really want is a dictator. Their dictator.
I would like a progressive Trump.
Oh.
I would like somebody who used the executive pen to say, you know what, we're going to make D.C. a state.
Yeah.
We're going to make Puerto Rico state.
Yeah.
We're going to abolish the Electoral College.
Yeah.
We're going to enshrine protections for women in the Constitution.
Yeah.
We're going to roll back because the very...
We're going to add more judges on the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
Oh.
So Democrats don't care about small d democracy.
No.
They want a big D dictator. The next election is going to be about who's the bigger dictator. Right now, they're just mad that ours is alive. But in 28, they're going to put up someone who promises they'll add D.C. and Puerto Rico, pack the court, kill the Electoral College, and arrest Trump again. Republicans better say how they're going to use their power to better serve the people and go even further than Trump has.
Wow.
Because the auto pen is not mightier than the sword.
Let me tell you this, it's mind-blowing. Again, we're in a face-off, everybody. GOP leaders urging Republicans not to sign the Epstein discharge petition. Like, this stuff is happening today. Then you have where Republicans are dismayed by Trump's decision to use pocket rescissions. The deep state, the rhinos are so real. It's so big. It's mind-blowing that we're getting to expose this all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, what you're about to see next, Trump is going to pull back. He's pulling back the money, whether the Republicans like it or not, whether the Democrats like it or not, giving it back to the American people. Pretty Butterfly Glow, let's go with the super chat. Said, pray for President Trump and keep him in your prayers. Let's go. Y'all show Glow some love in the chat. Because I'm telling you this, when Trump continues to claw back what you're about to see next, we're really going to expose the people that are involved with all these slush money funds. Listen to this.
Welcome back. We had a big appeals court decision today. A federal appeals court delivered a major blow to Judge Tanya Chutkan. She was appointed by Barack Obama. She's no fan of Trump. She repeatedly has ruled against President Trump. Now, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals agreed the Trump White House can claw back $20 billion that Biden officials gave out in Biden's climate slush fund spending to 8 Democrat-linked nonprofits. Joining us now, look who's here, the chairwoman of the House Republican Conference, Congresswoman Lisa McClain. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. What do you make of this? Because, you know, Biden's $27 billion climate slush fund payouts have been linked to a web of Clinton, Obama, and Biden Democrats. This is a major blow to Tanya Chutkan.
Yeah, but it is a wonderful win for the American people, right? That is thanks to President Trump. Listen, America has a spending problem. We are $36 trillion in debt. And what President Trump just did was claw back $20+ billion. That's a win for the hardworking American tax people. And it just shows the compare and the contrast between what the Biden administration did, help their friends, big government, versus President Trump and the Republicans. We want to make America great, put Americans first again, and that's exactly what happened.
You know, it's so interesting. An EPA advisor was caught on camera saying under Joe Biden, it was like we were on the Titanic throwing gold bars off the edge. But, you know, what do you make of Judge Rao in this? He hammered Judge Chutkan, writing from the majority, saying, quote, "We conclude the district court abused its discretion in issuing the injunction. She wanted to just keep giving out the money, saying that Judge Chutkan should have ruled instead in favor of government oversight of taxpayer money. This is about the Biden White House funding the lobbying push to get rid of everybody's gas stoves, gas cars, gas lawnmowers. What do you think?
Well, again, we believe in the American person. We believe in people. We believe people know what's best to do with their money, because it's not the government's money. So again, huge win for the American people. And you know what? The judge did overstep her bounds on that. And that's just another example of the politics and putting politics over the American people. Again, let's take care of the people. Let's be good stewards of the hard-working American taxpayers' money. And that's what President Trump, this administration, and Republicans are continuing to do. And we did it in the One Big Beautiful Bill as well. It's just a continuation of that.
Let's get your reaction. President Trump weighed in on that appeals court ruling against his tariffs. Listen to this.
Some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots.
What do you think of the decision against the tariffs here, Congresswoman?
Listen, President Trump is the best negotiator. He's the best deal maker. And again, I know it's my common theme and I sound like a broken record, but President Trump is doing what is best for the American people and for America. And he will not rest until he's done doing that.
Let's go.
Okay, Congresswoman Lisa McClain, thank you.
This is big stuff, y'all. I'm telling you, you cannot make stuff up with what they're putting out today across all these other outlets over Social Security. You got Medicare, Medicaid. People don't even know what the heck is going on. This is the host of a CNN big panel, guys, and you cannot make this stuff up. Listen to this.
When you're talking about, hold on, when you're talking about the government paying, you're talking about Social Security, which is people's money.
Well, it is not the money you paid in. It's
a system that they pay into.
Well, no,
you're calling paycheck stub.
Yes, but believe me, I pay a lot.
I know, I pay into Social Security. I don't know about you.
I promise you, the amount that people are taking out is not the amount that is going in, which is why we are going bankrupt.
Okay, but it's not the government just handing out a blank check.
No, it's the government borrowing money to pay. Well, you pay in X dollars, and then you get multiple times X dollars when you retire. That is how the system works. It is not a lockbox. This is what Al Gore was arguing about in 2000.
When you're talking about, hold on.
They don't even know how the system works, guys. It is a joke what we are seeing across the board. Want to say, guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, it's just mind-blowing how much we're showing of the rhinos that are out there, what's going on with Johnson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, with Massey. This is just crazy. If you appreciate this, if you're watching, if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that thumbs up like button. We're here to serve you. And just remember, when you're a member of the channel, you give a super chat donation. We donate this money live on stream on the 22nd of every single month. I want to give some special love to our members of the channel that support us and are giving. And want to give some special love to those that are given today. Give some special love to Digging It with Don. J-Mad, welcome to the family. Denise Clark, OG of the channel. Show Denise some love in the chat. Robert Cash, Andy, Thomas Brewer, Talmadge Coates, Pretty Butterfly Glow. Show them some love in the chat. Thank y'all so much for liking our video, sharing our videos. We're here to serve you. And don't forget our sponsor, Chapter, where if you're on Medicare or you're about to be on Medicare, guys, they're going to take care of you. Making sure that you save money as much as possible. They save seniors on average $1,100 a year. And this is just beautiful. Don't forget to give them a call, 667-895-3015. They're awesome. They've already saved so much of our people on our channel that have called in, and it's a blessing. We just want to put America first. We want to take care of our seniors. We want to do what's right. Just want to say thank you to everybody who supports us. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.